evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, November 16, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Patently false that Guyana tolerating xenophobia against Venezuelans, says VP JAGDEO. Local content earnings reach US $322 million as of June 2023, says PERTAB. Unleashing economic power of women must be high on the agenda, says First Lady. Berbice engineer now remanded for murder of fiancée, and forestry sector has seen strong recovery in last 3 years, says Commissioner. Now for the news in detail. Vice President Dr. JAGDEO has rejected statements made by his Venezuelan counterpart, Delcy Rodriguez, saying that she misled the International Court of Justice by claiming that Guyana tolerates the abuse of Venezuelan migrants who are seeking refuge here. Find out more in this Vanu Manichan report.
During her presentation before the World Court on Wednesday, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez alleged that Guyana is targeting the Venezuelan migrants living here in violation of international human rights and is promoting xenophobia, a claim which Vice President Dr. JAGDEO has outright denounced as false.
You have seen me at this press conference and elsewhere speak out against xenophobia. This is a total misrepresentation by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez before the ICJ. She's trying to score political points there. Her statement before the ICJ is false. This is not happening in Guyana. This is not happening. This is misleading the ICJ on this issue.
According to the Vice President, the Guyana government has ensured that all Venezuelans living here, majority of whom are either Guyanese-born or have Guyanese parentage, are treated with dignity and respect once they abide by Guyana's laws. In fact, only earlier this month, JAGDEO denounced the inhumane treatment of Venezuelans here as reprehensible.
We have condemned this from the government. Several times I have even gotten into trouble with the opposition for condemning xenophobia and maltreatment of Venezuelans living here. That's the official policy of the government of Guyana and the position of our party. I have even gone so far as to argue that as a nation that sent people abroad, including into Venezuela, when times were difficult here, they became economic migrants, that we have beyond international law, we have a moral obligation to treat people fairly when they come here to look for a living, economic migrants. We've been on the record, so for her to go and tell the court this, that we're practicing and promoting xenophobia here, is patently false. It's false. And so our lawyers should address that.
Guyana has asked the International Court of Justice to impose provisional measures in relation to Venezuela's planned referendum set for December 3 over its claim to the Essequibo region. After hearing from the two countries on Tuesday and Wednesday, the World Court is expected to hand down a ruling soon. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manichan.
Local content earnings for the first half of 2023 have accounted for US $322 million, while thousands of Guyanese have benefited from opportunities to provide services to the sector. Positives coming out of the country's Local Content Act. More in this Rupasina report.
Head of the Local Content Secretariat, Dr. Martin PERTAB, has informed that for 2023, it is projected that $720 million will be earned in the 40 carved-out areas under the Local Content Framework. Some $518 million was categorized as expenditure under procurement. There are 840 local companies registered to provide services. The act lays out 40 different services that oil and gas companies and their subcontractors must procure from Guyanese companies. This translates to employment for 33,943 Guyanese, directly and indirectly linked to support the sector.
As of June 2023, our expenditure, or projected actual expenditure, related to the Forte carved-out area was somewhere around 322, representing a 62% of the annual target. Specifically as it relates to employment, we have also seen an increase in new hires. I think from June 2022 compared to June 2023 estimate, we have seen a 24% increase in Guyanese hire.
PERTAB yet again drew attention to complaints of fronting, a practice also called rent-a-citizen, whereby foreign companies employ Guyanese and/or Guyanese businesses in order to bypass the provisions of the Local Content Act, including the stipulation that only companies that are 51% owned by a Guyanese can benefit from the 40 carved-out service areas. Beefing up requirements to clamp down on such practices, the local content had informed that they are working in unison with the relevant authorities.
The private sector has been very vocal. We have met with them, we have discussed ways on addressing this, and one of our approach is to add some more requirements to the list of the when it comes to the purpose of registration. So as of now, company would have to submit additional documents like audited financial statements, where we would see their performance, and we're also working closely with GRA, where Guyanese who claim that they own 51% of the companies we're declaring, we're working with them and let GRA know these are the Guyanese who claim they own 51% of the companies. So when it comes to the purpose of tax compliance, they would have that information.
The Local Content Act mandates penalties such as fines ranging from $5 million to $50 million for oil and gas companies and their subcontractors who fail to meet the minimum targets of the legislation, as well as those who are in breach of the Act. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
A large interagency investigation is still underway into allegations of gold smuggling, with the Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat assuring that a number of actions will be taken once the investigation has been wrapped up. Here are the details from Joel Bryan.
Reports of gold smuggling costing the state millions of dollars in revenue have reared their head throughout the year. At his end-of-year press conference, Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat addressed this matter and assured a multi-agency investigation is still underway.
Yes, there are reports. There are reports of alleged gold smuggling. We have received some of the information, which the Ministry of Home Affairs and a number of other agencies have been engaging in an investigation, but I want to assure you that the people who are caught with or we can provide enough evidence that they're actually doing that will have to face the full force of the law. And as was mentioned before, if people who own properties are involved in this, then it means that GGMC will be in a position where they may have to take back those properties.
The minister noted that persons who were allocated claims by the government cannot then avoid declaring gold to the government. He made it clear that once agencies have concluded their investigations, actions will be taken.
You can't be given properties from the government and you're not declaring your goals through the rightful channels. So once we have enough evidence when that investigation is concluded, then actions will be taken in more than one forms.
Last month, the government had announced that an investigation would be launched into reports of gold smuggling and illegal trade. This came about in light of dropping gold declarations that were at odds with the investments being made in the sector. For 2022, the declaration was 486,415 ounces. In 2021, it was 499,054 ounces. 2020 recorded 584,291 ounces, and 2019 some 634,905 ounces. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
First Lady Arya Ali has underscored the need for the economic power of women to be unleashed and for this matter to be high on the agenda of policymakers. Here are the details.
When more women work, economies grow. Women's economic empowerment boosts productivity, increases economic diversification and income equality, in addition to many other positive development outcomes. Unleashing the economic power of women must therefore be high on our agenda.
First Lady Arya Ali delivering the feature address during the Caribbean Gender Empowerment Forum on Wednesday at the Marriott Hotel. The event was hosted by the Adrian Art Latin America Center and United Nations Women Caribbean through the Spotlight Initiative.
The World Economic Forum's 2022 Gender Gap Report highlights that women economic participation and opportunity has actually regressed, and we are facing a massive 257 years before gender parity can be achieved.
The First Lady detailed that there are a number of reasons for this, including the fact that women face greater hurdles than men in almost every sphere of economic activity,
including access to finance, assets, technology, good quality jobs, peer-to-peer networks, and of course, training opportunities.
She went on to lament that only 55% of women globally are engaged in the labor market, as opposed to 78% of men. In Guyana, there is a concerted effort to strategically bring more women into the workforce to fulfill the needs of the booming economy. In fact, over the last 3 years, the Board of Industrial Trading has successfully trained approximately 10,000 persons in a range of areas. Of the 10,000 persons trained to date, 46% are females. Earlier this year, President Dr. Irfan Ali had revealed that at the University of Guyana, 70% of the total student population are women, and even more remarkable, he opined, is that the withdrawal rate among females is among the lowest at 0.4%. In the health sector, President Ali had shared that 60% of the country's doctors are women, while 98% of the nurses are women. Meanwhile, First Lady Arya Ali says her office will continue to execute programs aimed to empowering women and girls across the country.
Coming up, police nets highest cannabis seizure in 5 years with 1,425 kg, and forestry sector has seen strong recovery in last 3 years, says Commissioner. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
John Lewis Styles has opened a new department, now offering home goods. Here you can find quality sheets and towels, pillows, blankets and even bath mats and shower curtains. Organize your laundry with clothes baskets, fabric steamers, irons and ironing boards. For the kitchen we have small appliances, towels and mittens, pot sets and dinner sets too. Decorate the house with mirrors, picture frames, floating shelves and decorative pillows. All these and more on Waterloo Street. It's fashion for the home. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
So when you're having fun, don't forget condom. Put this on.
Think you may be at risk for HIV? Need to find out but want to be private? HIV self-testing is easy and available. Simply swab your mouth to collect an oral fluid sample and follow the instructions to test it. Results are available in 20 minutes. HIV self-testing kits are available at any HIV testing site throughout the country. Get tested today, and remember, HIV is life-changing, but with treatment, not life-threatening.
A message from the Ministry of Health and the National AIDS Program Secretariat with support from Global.
Experience more than award-winning speed. Way more. Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A Berbice engineer who was on bail for the attempted murder of his fiancée was today remanded to prison following the woman's death. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports.
29-year-old Neil Madramutu of Shoe Lane, New Amsterdam, Berbice was on Thursday remanded to prison for the murder of his fiancée, 32-year-old Ashmain Mahadio of Williamsburg Quarantine. Madramutu appeared before Magistrate Peter Yu at the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court, where the charge was read to him. It is alleged that between October 1st and November 13th, he murdered Mahadio. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge. Madramutu, an engineer, was remanded to prison until November 22nd. He was represented by attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes. Hughes informed the court that an attorney was able to interview Mahadio while she was hospitalized. He called on the prosecution to include that evidence in the case. Following the court hearing, the attorney spoke with the Evening News.
I hope there's a full, detailed scientific investigation into the death of Ms. Mahadio. I'm hoping that we have advanced beyond the stage where they're just relying on statements of people who allege that they were present. I think the science provides a much stronger basis. And having said that, I know that Ms. Mahadio, prior to her death, had requested and retained an attorney-at-law who interviewed her and who received instructions from her prior to her death. And I was bringing that to the attention of the court and the prosecution so that the police can follow up with that, so that they can get that information and include it in the file. In addition to that, there are several bits of scientific evidence we hope will be presented to the court, including the gunshot wound, where the direction, the trajectory of the warhead through the body of the deceased, where they recovered the shell from, because all of these are particularly important. And it is my hope now, generally in Ghana, that we've migrated beyond the stage of just basic gathering of rudimentary evidence.
Madramutu was previously charged with attempted murder of the woman and was released on $500,000 bail. However, after the woman succumbed to her injuries on Monday, Madramutu surrendered to the police. Mahadio took her last breath on Monday evening at the New Amsterdam hospital after battling for her life for more than a month. She was initially hospitalized at the Georgetown Public Hospital but was transferred to the New Amsterdam Hospital. A decision her brother Naresh Mahadio stated was taken by the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. Mahadio was shot to her neck at her Williamsburg Quarantine home on October 1st. At the time of the shooting, the couple was packing items in Madramutu's company vehicle to take to a location in Port Morant where the couple's bridal shower reception was expected to take place. The fiancé had initially told the woman's relatives that he did not know what transpired and even suggested that she was shot during a robbery. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Despite a decrease in overall traffic accidents, the Guyana Police Force's Traffic Department has recorded a 71% increase in road fatalities across the country. In this Kamesi Slow report, you will hear that motorcyclists have been identified as the category of road users to account for most of those deaths.
Traffic Chief Mahindra Singh on Wednesday gave an update on the traffic situation in the country as of November 13, 2023. He disclosed that a total of 2,264 accidents were recorded so far this year, reflecting a 9% decrease or some 200 less accidents than 2022.
When in 2022 we had 81 fatal accidents, with 88 deaths, which included 5 children. Corresponding to this period, we have 129 accidents with 151 deaths, of which 5 were also children. That speaks to an increase of 59% where fatal accidents are concerned. Serious accidents, 2022, there were 323, 2023, 263, represents a significant decrease of 19%. Minor accidents, 565 for 2022, 471 for 2023, 17% decrease. And damage accident, 1,495 for 2022, 1,401 for 2023, a 7% decrease.
According to the traffic chief, only 3 of the 12 police regional divisions recorded increases in accidents.
In region number 1, there was a minus 50% across all categories of accidents. Region number 2, nothing significant to jump about. There was an increase, 40%. Region 3, there was a minus, almost break even. And Region 4, which is split into 3 police divisions, there was a minus 12% in Region 4A. 1% increase at 4B, which is the East Bank. And on 4C, the East Coast, there was a minus 10%. Region 5, there was a 34% increase. 6, a 17% increase. Region 7 onwards, minus 35%, minus 50%, minus 25%, and minus 20%. This table helps us to analyze and understand clearly where our issues are, reference each type of accident, and it helps us to deploy further.
Moreover, a further breakdown of these accidents show that motorcyclists are the most prevalent victims, with speeding identified as the major cause.
The categories of road users who have lost their lives comparatively, here we are seeing in 2022, pedestrians, drivers, and motorcyclists, with the order being pedestrians, motorcyclists, and drivers having lost significantly their lives. When you fast forward to 2023, there's a slight change where motorcyclists is in the lead, followed by the pedestrians, drivers themselves, occupants of motor cars, and pedal cyclists in that order. From September, we have recognized August as one of the months which has had the most fatalities and accidents, 27 to be exact. Thereafter, there have been significant reductions within the year. And much of the cases that we have here, I'll tell you prevalent ones. Speeding has amounted for more than 15,000 tickets issued from January 1, 2023 to now. Do the maths at 7,500. The Treasury should be having a good day. DUI, that continues. Of more than 1,000 cases, we would have had several persons charged and placed before the court, and the fines would have ranged from 50,000 to 200,000.
Additionally, some 68,602 traffic-related cases were made out so far this year, almost doubling the amount recorded in 2022. I am Kamisi Slow, reporting for the Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Guyana Police Force has continued its drug interdiction efforts, which have resulted in the seizure of the highest quantity of cannabis in the past 5 years. At the force's annual press conference on Wednesday, Crime Chief Wendell Blanham revealed that between January 1 and November 13 this year, some 1,425.7 kilograms of cannabis have been seized, along with 9.9 kilograms of cocaine. Let's have a look.
For the year 2023, in excess of 9 kilograms of cocaine was seized by the Guyana Police Force. This chart illustrates a sharp decline in the quantity of cocaine seized when compared with the previous year, 2022. This is owing to the fact that last year an entire plane load of cocaine was seized, which increased the overall quantity for that year. Next slide, please. Cannabis seized, the amount is in kilograms. Regarding our drug interdiction efforts, cannabis seizures were due to daily operations conducted targeting known drug blocks, checkpoints, and choke points, and this led to the highest cannabis seizure in 5 years. During the year 2023, 131 acres of cannabis fields were destroyed, which shows an increase when compared to the year 2022. Regarding cannabis, 188 persons were charged this period, and for cocaine, 26 persons.
Acting Commissioner of the Guyana Forestry Commission, Edward Goodburn, has reported that over the past 3 years, strong recovery has been recorded within the sector in both production and environmental scopes, and he has credited this development to proper resource utilization and robust policies at the level of the state. Berbice reports.
During a recent press conference by the Natural Resources Ministry this week, Acting Commissioner of the Guyana Forestry Commission Edward Goodburn pointed to a gradual upscaling over the last 3 years. For 2022, there was a 10% growth when compared to 2021. In 2023, growth stands at about 5%. This contrasts to the period of 2015 and 2020, when the sector saw a decline in production.
So the sector has shown robust growth over the last 3 years. And we know also for the last couple of years in the early 2021-22 with COVID and the tremendous rainfall and the flooding in the interior. So it has went through quite a difficult period, but we are happy with the good weather pattern and also the robustness within the sector, good government policies, board intervention in terms of allocation and resource utilization. We have seen strong recovery within the sector.
The Guyana Forestry had shared that local consumption has been high for local and lesser-known species. Even with this progress, the country's deforestation rate remains among the lowest in the world.
In terms of illegal logging, sustainability, illegality, we are happy to report that we have strong environmental credentials from both from the administration of the GFC and also from compliance level within the sector.
This year, the National Forest Inventory has been completed. Meanwhile, last December, an agreement was signed between government and the European Union in a bid to give buyers assurance that timber products from Guyana are legal. It would help improve forest governance, further curb illegal logging, and promote trade in verified legal timber products. Currently, the Guyana Forestry Commission is in the implementation stage. Among the achievements this year was the completion of a national standard for forest certification, for which the endorsement process is being carried out across agencies. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Friday, November 17, 2023 at 4 hours, for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 6 hours 40 on Friday, November 17, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
UG Berbice campus unveils Cricketers' Wall of Fame, and Santos police win to intensify KFC League Cup race. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Entrepreneurs, coconut byproducts are in high demand. How can you cater to that demand? By investing in a coconut shredder from Sylvie's. Guaranteed to increase your output, this 110-volt stainless steel machine shreds coconut in seconds, allowing you to also save on labor and time. From the shreds, you can create coconut powder, oil, milk, etc. Order yours now at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Did you know that when you leave your property unoccupied and unmanaged, it deteriorates much faster than you can imagine? Then before you know it, much of your hard-earned investment is wasted. At Hand in Hand Trust Corporation, property management is our business. Whether you travel for long periods, live overseas, or have several properties that require managing, let us at Hand in Hand Trust Corporation take care of this for you. Your property is safe with us. Hand in Hand Trust Corporation Incorporated, a member of the Hand in Hand Group of Companies.
Superbet, your best bet. Do you wish to pass some time and win while doing so? Play our Superbet online games. Choose from over 200 online games that are easy to play. Visit www.superbet.gy to choose your game. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.